objective of the Women Economic Forum are two-pronged. One is to empower thought leadership among women. We often see that women are not so much part of the decision-making processes at different levels of society. And we believe that if women are compelling thought leaders in society, obviously there will be space for them, they will be respected as thought leaders, and they will be called upon, and they will make their way forward as decision makers in different rungs of society. And then policies and whatever the environment that we have around us will be also influenced by the feminine point of view. And the feminine point of view, we believe, is the inclusive point of view. And today that is very, very important, because as the world is getting divided on various lines of religion, ethnicities, there is mistrust, insecurity all around. I think this counter narrative of love, this global movement of women is very visionary, is very futuristic, and is going to have far-reaching, wonderful consequences, because we can't really stop the rise of divisive forces, the rise of fear and the rise of hate. We can't stop people from blowing out the candles of love, but we can have 1 million soldiers lighting these blown out candles with love and passion and enthusiasm all over again. And that is what we want to do. So one is, of course, empowering thought leadership. So you see the forum has about 130 topics. So it's the Women Economic Forum, and the main plenary sessions are all about global growth, finance, economy, because we do believe that women should be part of industry, they should be financially independent, and that's absolutely critical. At the same time, women's lives have many, many things that they are equally passionate about: parenting, their children, caretaking of elders in their lives, and a lot of new concepts, how to engage in society. So we have put a range of thought-provoking parallel sessions and lunch roundtables on which we will be having discussions on these satellite subjects. The whole idea being that women should begin to have a point of view. Women should be able to deliberate a range of topics and express their thought processes with conviction and confidence in themselves. And to us, that is empowering their thought leadership. The second objective, as you see, because this is a forum where we are actively reaching out to women from all across the world, from different countries. So for instance, we have women from Poland. I'm joined by Magdalena, she's from Poland. We are joined by a huge delegation which has come in from Morocco, a bigger delegation from the United States of America for about 30 women from different parts of the US, for instance, Utah, Los Angeles, San Francisco. Then of course we have women from Canada, or from Zambia, from UK, from France. So there is a range. So Singapore is there, a lot of women are there, and we want to empower global friendship among women. Because once we have women from Pakistan as well, Israel as well, and the whole idea is we don't want these countries to be just maps on a piece of paper. We want these countries to be real. We want people to know each other. And that is one of the biggest tools of interfaith understanding to develop in our world. So these are the two objectives of the forum. I think I will stop here. I've highlighted the basic objectives, and of course all of you have the brochures. You will see the extremely impressive lineup of speakers, and I'm very, very honored to have all these people come in and support the Women Economic Forum. Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis, Chief Minister of Maharashtra, he's coming in for a couple of days. Menka Gandhi will be here. Madhur Bhandarkar from the film industry, we've got immense support. Madhur Bhandarkar, the well-known director who's known for directing women-oriented films. Vidya Balan, who has completely changed the way a female actor is perceived in Indian cinema. She's going to be here. So you'll see a lot of speakers from industry, from film industry, from the world of politics, women leadership, and the speakers are also from different parts of the world, including the leaders from India. So we are, to me, this is nothing less than a miracle that is happening, frankly. It was a dream. And as the dream is coming true, I'm really realizing that not only is this an idea whose time has come, this is also something that probably the forces of the universe want, and that's why it has culminated in this tremendously inspirational gathering. And we are delighted to be in Goa year after year, and we are engaging tremendously with the women of Goa. We have the Goa Women of the Decade Awards, where we are felicitating leading women of Goa. Ethel is here with me. She's one of the awardees. It's a surprise for the event, but since all of you are here, I'll mention. Wendell Rodrigues will be presenting a session on the 10th of May on Goa as inspiration and fashion as an instrument of empowering women. So I think we are in the most exciting place, not just in India, but in the world. Goa is the top 10 destinations, holiday destinations in the world. I believe that in a few years from now, Goa will be amongst the top 10 thought capitals of the world. And I'm very honored to be part of this movement, this new wave, and making this change happen for all. Thank you very much. We'll open it to questions as you like. Women's leadership, but men are very much included. So a quarter of our delegates are men. I welcome Rand Snyderman, a very well-known photographer. So he's here to photograph the best moments for the Women's Forum here. So, and we have a lot of people from senior media people who are going to be resident over here. So as I said, a quarter will be men. And we want to make this inclusive. We want to have men participate in this movement of empowering women's participation in all aspects of society and industry. Yes, please.
Yeah, how can women leaders help tide over? How can women leaders how can women leaders tide over religious fundamentalism across religions? Fundamentalism across religions.
I think it's a very important question that you've asked. It's something that we've been discussing amongst each other for a long while. And we have a session where the ambassador of Turkey will be present, a very leading lady from Zambia will be present, and one of the ladies from Pakistan who has been working a lot in Pakistan on de-radicalization will be present. And so we understand there is a huge problem on fundamentalism and radicalization that is happening, and all of us are concerned about it. And the only thing we believe as women leaders that we can do, as I said, is start our own counter narrative. And if you see the forces of radicalization, they're very methodical in what they do. They are extremely, passionate about what they do. And I have always believed that the problem with a lot of creative people and the common man and the common women in quotes is that we are good in our own lives, but we don't perform very well as a collective. We don't pool in and pour in our competencies, talents, networks, connections together for a larger purpose, which is what the forces of radicalization or the forces of divisiveness do very well. They come together extremely well for a purpose and they are totally committed to it. Now I believe if we can get together people who want a different world, a world which is inclusive, a world which is there is space for all, a world that is, it talks the language of love, tolerance, peace and harmony. It has to also come together in mission mode and really believe in its purpose and go till the end to do what it has to do. But it has to function as a collective. And that's why at the All Ladies League, we have a zero tolerance policy for any kind of negativity. Because we believe that the biggest undermining of creative people, positive people is that we probably get too overwhelmed with our vision of the world and we don't have tolerance for taking other people along. So here we are there for a purpose and we want people who are positive, who believe in this purpose, to come together and pour in all that they have to achieve this purpose. And if they feel that we are not delivering or doing what we set out to do, we are happy to kind of have them let us know and course correct and do all of that. But we are very, very particular about just having like-hearted women come together. We don't want like-minded people, because different mindsets are very important to keeping the creativity alive. But we definitely want like-hearted women who are positive, caring and committed. And on that, there is no compromise.
Do you have any resolutions passed at the end of the meeting? That is one question. And secondly, what is the follow-up after such a big event?
Yeah, could you just repeat the first question?
First question is, do you pass any resolutions at the end of this meeting? And what is the follow-up of such a big event? How it goes?
I want to tell you about, I just told you about what we are. I also want to share about what we are not. Because that's very important to our future and what we will become. So what we are not is an organization ossified in time. We don't want to meet up, have a nice social experience, note down the minutes of the meeting and then go back to our lives. This is a form, a body in becoming. And the structure is already very, very, in the sense it's only connected by a common value system. Because people and members are everywhere, they're not just in India. So it's difficult to meet everybody all the time. But because of technology, Facebook and all of that, today it's become so much easier to stay connected. We do a lot of video conferencing to stay in touch with our members everywhere. And so we want this to be a body in a state of becoming. We do not want the creativity to go. We do not want the distributed leadership that each person, each woman is carrying with her vision and doing whatever she's doing given the larger framework. We don't want to stop that. So at the end of this forum, there won't be any sort of resolution as such, because we're not in activist or advocacy mode, not at all. That's not what we are. What we are is, if a woman wants to do something, she should get a network of like-hearted women to be able to make connections. So for instance, if I want to do something, I can call upon my 100 chapters and thousands of women and say, who has connections over that? How can I make that happen? That sisterhood is very, very empowering, and that's how we want it to be, not an ossified kind of statued in time organization, but something that's evolving, growing every time. So at the end of the forum, we have a book of recommendations and suggestions as it will be discussed in the various sessions. So a whole book will be brought out giving the recommendations and suggestions of each of the panels. It will not be my voice. It will be the voice of everybody who's going to be here and who's going to be participating in the deliberations. And that we are going to disseminate as a thought process to people around. Because we want it to be an inclusive movement and everybody to own a stake in this movement and say, this is my movement, because this makes my life a little better, because this makes my family a little better off, and this makes my world a nicer place. So that's one.
Since you have women coming from developed world as well as developing world.
Correct.
So about gender biases and all, and how to overcome these issues are being discussed?
See, the point of intercultural thing is an opportunity, and it's also a challenge. So I agree to that completely. But the whole point is that unless we take this step, and unless we have a meeting ground of different cultures, we will not be able to sensibilize ourselves to different cultural nuances and appreciate them for what they are. And that is what we hope to do. In fact, a lot of people come to India believing it's the land of poverty and hunger. And then they go and live in pieces of history which are palaces, and then they realize there's a lot more to India. They partake of our hospitality and warmth, coming even from people who cannot themselves afford 2 square meals a day, and their lives are touched and very, very transformed. So that is the kind of experience we want to create in India. And when you meet somebody from Africa, when you meet somebody from Morocco, you have friends there. These people have become your friends. You approach their worldview with a little more compassion, with a little more sympathy, with a little more understanding, and with a little more attitude of trying to understand rather than sit in judgment. So I think this whole cultural problem will precisely be negotiated by all of us coming together year after year and entering the spaces of each other's hearts and mellowing those rigid boundaries of each other's hearts and feeling like one. So after meeting all my friends I welcome a delegate from Morocco. If something happens in Casablanca, my heart will connect to her as if something has happened in my life. So I will learn to connect to the pains and joys of people in other countries as my own. And this whole division between us and them will reduce. And the boundaries will begin to come down. We have a joke within, we say we are the cracks in the walls. And slowly we will bring the walls down. And so what we are trying to do with this connection, with this love, is just to create those little cracks in the walls, the big walls that have come up amongst all of us, when the whole Indian ideal is Vasudeva Kutumbakam, that the whole world is one big family of the divine force. And so we are actually following that age-old wisdom, and we want to make it a reality. I know it's ambitious, I know it's challenging, but I feel the force with all of us.
But you realize that the age-old wisdom also says women, it is time to go back home. And a lot of women in the world today are also thinking along these lines, because the whole feminist movement, although it has liberated women, it has created such a lot of disparity between the women who have and the women who don't have. And most of the women are those who don't have. So in terms of financial issues, is this forum going to come up with creating employment for women who need jobs to be financially independent?
I think the main concern of the forum, because if you get into issues, like employment and things like that, there is no end to it. What we are looking at is a transformation in the mindset of society, in the transformation of the self-confidence of the woman herself, and our ability to learn from each other and feel that we are not alone. And empowerment to us is not about getting a job or not getting a job. It's about the capacity to choose whatever you wish to do with your life. And that capacity and that ability is something that women don't have access to in many parts of the world. So that is the kind of environment, the inner world that we want to empower within a woman, and also do interventions outside in our ecosphere so that that vision becomes a reality. The ability and the capacity to choose a life that I wish to lead.
But money is a very important input, and women
Absolutely.
need money.
Absolutely.
And women need money more than anything else.
Absolutely. But our objective is not to run a corporation where we can employ women. Our objective is to create certain environmental and certain attitudinal changes within a woman and help in providing access to opportunities through a range of interventions which we are doing across our various chapters, so that women get connected to opportunities, and then it is up to their decision. For us to also impose on women to work or not to work would be anti-empowerment. Empowerment is the ability to choose. But yes, I agree with you completely that financial independence, nothing can move without that. So it's very, very important. So we are connecting women to educational opportunities. We have a huge scholarships program. We work in association with various partners, the universities and the colleges, and we ensure that a lot of women who want to get educated, and this is just not in India, a lot of them from India, but we have it in 22 countries across the world, that they're able to access education. And there was an ILO study done which said if women have access to secondary education and then they're able to actually get into higher education, their chances of landing up in the industry as economic workforce goes up 5-fold. So I think if you take women till that step, the next steps follow. They're automatic, but you have to get those steps of construction right. Yes, please.
What's your vision for political reservation for women? And you have a whole range of politicians across parties attending this forum. Would you lobby with them to kind of make sure these things done?
As I said, we don't do lobbying, we don't do any sort of activism or advocacy. At the same time, We believe in getting women into the decision-making process because we believe in having women's leadership at all levels of society. So you can't have just women leadership at the top or bottom and not have it in the middle levels. I believe as an equitable society, all stakeholders should be participating. So yes, to that extent that we believe that women leadership should be there in all layers of society. The current context in India being that if you do give reservation to women, you will encourage them to come into participative, we call political empowerment space, and to that extent, it is a strategy required for the next few years. We believe in it.
Recently, SEBI has been directing the corporate world to increase the participation of women in board of directors, but it is not happening. It is still very marginal. On this kind of issues, you deliberate?
Yes, there is, again, as I said, whatever concerns women's leadership, we are concerned about that. And, that's why we talk about a change in mindsets. And that's why we have this forum where we are inviting men to participate. So a lot of people are here with us. And I keep telling them, when you come here, please don't do a story on us. I mean, that's fine. If you do it, that's wonderful. Because we have a lot of senior people from media coming. But I want you to think of women as a part of concerns in your own life. Don't look at us as outsiders, as issues that concern women and that don't concern you. Any issue that concerns a woman concerns every family. So start looking at us as your issue. Integrate us in your own mindsets, in your own hearts. And the change will happen very slowly because it's a mindset issue. Even when you see a woman driver on the road, you automatically assume she's a bad driver. It's a mindset issue. If you see a woman on a board table, you feel that you have the right to silence her and not allow her to express her point of view because you can make a woman shut up. But those are the kind of mindsets that a society needs to change. At the same time, Condoleezza Rice once told me that she, like other women, had to work not just twice as hard, but 4 times as hard. So I think that's also true, and women who are in this transitional phase, 50 years from now, the space of women will be very different. Just like today, it's very different thanks to the various movements that have been going on from time to time. Today, because of this new wave, we will see a new world order for women in a few decades. But today, in this transitional space, yes, women will have to try at least twice as hard, if not 4 times as hard, to show that they are capable, to show that what they are saying has something to add, it has value, and they will earn their respect in society on the basis of their own merit. So I think those 2 things put together will bring about a change in few years. Anyone from the left side? Yes, please.
Nowadays, talking about women entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Women, now generally the field of, or the platform of women entrepreneurship or women empowerment is coming to emerging field better. We have been seeing that a lot of strengths are there in women, particularly in rural regions. So the talent, the potential has been suppressed due to the non-availability of resources and non-availability of opportunities for them. So probably I feel if we can create good opportunities and give them enough resources, probably they have more potential than men in terms of stability and maturity and take both family as well as official work.
I agree with you completely, and one of our objectives precisely because of that is to create the rural-urban continuum. So what we do is we connect women leaders at the grassroots level, at the village level, to women iconic global leaders. We have one way of doing that. One is through honor and recognition. So for instance, we have the Women of the Decade Awards. That's one of the signature awards that we have, where we honor women who we are inspired with, right? But who are the sung heroes? People know a little about them. They are on Google, they have a Facebook account and all of that. They have visibility. On the other hand, we also have in our smaller cities, the grassroots Women of the Decade Awards. So for instance, I'll talk about Gujarat, where we reached out to these 18 women in villages. And these are all grassroots entrepreneurs. One of them gave our MBA students the best lessons in how to get your quickest return of money. And she said it was in the dairy business. And it was incredible. The grassroots wisdom these women have and how they run their whole families. She had a family of 16 people. It was a huge family of extended families. And it was running primarily on her business. And she was doing a very, very good business. But if you Google her, you'll not find her anywhere. So one is we got the Chief Minister of that state to come and recognize these women. We put it up, we created, on the website. So if you Google Jyoti Ben today, you will find her. So that was one aspect, and they were very excited. So we took them to the Google site and said, okay, Google your name. And they found it, and their family was all around them, and they were so very excited, and they wanted screenshots of it and all of that. That's one important part. The other is we, in our membership, we are not elitist at all, and we never want to be. In fact, we shun elitism. So I have a member who is Kiran Majumdar-Shaw, who is leading Biocon, a great entrepreneur amongst the world's leading 10 pharma companies today. And you also have a lady in a village who you've never heard of. And both of them are members. And both of them will get an opportunity to connect to each other at some forum that we are doing. And we have mailing lists. So everything that is done in a village or in some part of Palo Alto goes to everyone. Obviously there are challenges in that, there are language barriers, you've got to reach out. But we do try our best for instance, we had this lady from Bihar. She's known as the Green Lady of Bihar because like the Chipko movement, she's saving the environment. So she has already, greened the area of about 40,000 hectares. Nobody knows about her. So we wanted her to come for the award. And she said, but I cannot afford a train ticket. That's nice of you to give me an award, but I cannot afford a train ticket. So we made sure that we arranged the train ticket for her and made her come. At the same time, there were some guests we wanted to invite, and they wanted their tickets to be paid. So, we're dealing with all sorts of challenges. We are trying to create a space of generosity. We are trying to create a space of kindness because frankly, that is the only thing we need to live a good life, and that's the only thing that's today missing from our lives. So our objectives are very, very humble and very simple. We want to create a new consciousness, which is frankly an old, ancient, very, very deep consciousness of living with just simple, good old love and kindness. So that's what we try to do in our interactions with people. And when people feel that other people are being kind and generous, it's within us. In the Indian philosophy, we always say it's in our own hearts. It gets triggered, it comes out, and miracles happen with generosity. And that's what we are trying to create. Unless there's a change of consciousness, unless there's positive energy around us, things will not move. And when things begin to move, they begin to move for everybody. They won't be selective and say, oh, I'm going to move for the rich person and not move for the poor person. But we are here to create movement, to create creative movement so that it involves everybody and moves for everybody and people find opportunities in magical ways.
Dissemination of information.
Called Women Economic Forum. What exactly is economic issues which are discussed?
We have a focus country every year. For instance, we have the focus country as India this year. So the forum is divided into 3 kinds of sessions. One is the plenary sessions on which all the topics, we have over 30 plenary sessions, are all related to economics, finance, growth. They belong to that vertical. So if you have a look at all the subjects we have, let's say India as a global growth engine, or leading ahead in the 21st century, what next? Manufacturing, the business of luxury, where it's going. So they're all business, finance, economics related, all the plenary sessions. So that's the spinal cord of the forum. At the same time, you have the different, other parts of the body of the forum, which are, as I said, the parallel sessions and the round tables, in which satellite subjects which affect the lives of women, for instance, going through a divorce, Now, if a woman is unable to handle her divorce, it is unlikely that she will be able to perform very well in whatever entrepreneurship or business or profession she is in. So we need to sort out those issues of the mind, body, spirit as well as we chalk out the economic issues. And I think Indian thought has always taken everything holistically. There's one human being, and that one human being has a mind and a heart and a spirit, and all need harmony among themselves. So while we are focused on all the economic issues, because financial empowerment is a huge mandate, but at the same time we need the woman to be in a state of joy, balance and happiness, because then whatever she does becomes more productive, and she does it better with more passion and more energy. So those topics are also covered as satellite subjects. From that table, would there be any questions?
Can you tell us a little bit about the starting of the Women's Economic Forum? What is history like?
It started with the All Ladies League, which is a global movement which began about at a small level about 7 years ago. It's become more active and more global in the past 4 years, where we've been joined by a lot of, as I said, like-hearted women from all over the world. And then we realized we needed a place where all these people who are part of it can meet each other once a year. That can also be done in a retreat format and all of that, which we do in any case. But we realized that we needed some sort of a stomach of the All Ladies League subtle body. So this is really the stomach where everything that comes together gets processed and digested, and everybody partakes of the nourishment. So it's just a use of a metaphor to kind of understand why there was a need, because we needed to nourish ourselves with everybody's energy and with what everybody had to bring in terms of their connections, in terms of their person, their energy, everything. So this is really the crucible where it all gets mixed, it interacts, it's processed, and as I said, it's digested for everybody to partake of as nourishment. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for being here, and we are all going to be seeing you very often. Thank you so much.